In this step-by-step guide video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to form Australia in Victoria 3. Today, we're going to be playing as New South Wales, as this is the best starting penal colony in Australia to form Australia. So let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and quickly see what it takes for us to form Australia. So we're going to come over here to cultures, or by simply clicking F8. Then you're going to come over to nation formation and Australia. Now, all you're going to do is see here with the form Australia button, it says we need to control over at least 7 state regions, which are required to form Australia. As you can see here, we only control 4 out of the 7 regions to form Australia. So we need to grab the other states of Tasmania, South Australia, Western Australia, the North and South Islands of New Zealand, and we also need to research nationalism. So we're going to come over here to the research, we're going to come over here to society, we're going to go ahead, go straight into nationalism, and while I'm also going to go ahead and research canneries, mechanical tools, and mechanized workshops. And then when we come to the journal entry, you can see here we do have the Federate Australia, which will activate once we have nationalism. And then if you come over to the decisions right here, you can also see we have Federate Australia once again. Now, clicking this tick here will allow us to annex the other colonies in order for us to incorporate them and for us to actually own the territory to actually help us form Australia. Now, in order for us to be able to interact with this button, we need to have nationalism and have relations between us and Great Britain equal to 50, and we need to have at least amicable relations and greater GDP than a neighboring Australia or Maori country with the same overlord. So if the United Tribes over here were to be free, we wouldn't be able to annex them as we do not share the same overlord, etc., etc. Now, starting as New South Wales, we do have the highest GDP by a mile. Playing as New South Wales makes this a lot easier, but if you want to go for a real challenge, I really highly recommend either the United Tribes or Kaurna. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, quickly right-click. We're going to go ahead and improve our relations with Western Australia, South Australia, and then we're going to go ahead and quickly go with Great Britain. So when it comes to economy in Australia, as you can see here, we take a look at our budget. You can see here that we do have the consumption tax for grain. Now, when it comes to the taxes, I usually bring them all the way up and then build a construction sector and then slowly bring down the taxation level as the game continues with the campaign. But for today's video, we're just going to go ahead and have this lowered down. Now, for government and military wages, I'm just going to go right ahead, increase them out to the max. And for politics, as you can see here, I'm currently going for professional army. Now, again, it could be different in any other game. Please go at your own pace. Now, for the market, as you can see here, we can organize the market by clicking the market price. As you can see here, groceries are pretty expensive here in the British Empire, with the sell orders being 556 by the amount we are able to produce in the British market. The amount of buy orders needed is about 1.48. That is more than doubled than what we can produce. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to industry, and we're going to go ahead and build our food groceries, build about 2 in Victoria, because here in New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, and other regions, they suffer with the Great Dividing Range being negative 15% infrastructure and negative 50% state construction efficiency. While Northern Territory and WA and South Australia have the same buffs, but even worse to being at 25%, but they get an additional negative 20% agriculture throughput bonus. While places like Tasmania and Victoria, they do not suffer any of these buffs, while New Zealand, North Island, South Island also have no debuffs. So basically, Victoria, Tasmania, North and South Island are going to be your go-to places to build when you first start. Now, also, I forgot to mention, you will need to establish a colony in South Island as well in order to fully grab South Island and grab it when you form Australia. Now, as Australia, you won't be able to do anything since we are a puppet state of the British Empire, but once we complete Federate Australia, we will be able to become a dominion, which will allow us to act on our own, declare our interests, and then we could go ahead even mess around with Indonesia or any other place in the world. Okay, so we now have finally researched nationalism, which is beautiful. Now, we still need to be able to increase our other relations with the other colonies, and since we have amicable relations now with Great Britain, as you can see here, you get amicable relations when you meet plus 50 when you're improving your relations, as we are doing with our other colonies. I'm now going to go right ahead and do the same for the United Tribes and Tasmania. Okay, so now we have amicable relations with Western Australia, and we also have it with South Australia. Now, what we're going to do is come over here to the journal entry, and as you can see here, we finally meet the requirements to annex one of the fellow colonies here in Australia. And what we're going to do here is, now that we tick all the boxes, we'll actually get a plus 50% prestige buff, and this will actually make us a minor power, but it really won't help us with anything, as we won't be able to declare war on anyone or any other people, etc. So what we're going to do is click this, and we have managed to confederate with with Western Australia. Click God Save the Queen, and there we go. We have now managed to grab Western Australia. Now, the next important thing is you want to be able to incorporate Western Australia, as because you don't want to suffer from the debuffs that you get while being unincorporated. As you can see here, we get negative 50% conscripted battalions and negative 25% infrastructure. Now, we do not want that, as because we want to incorporate the state, as having an incorporated state will get rid of all those debuffs. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, quickly incorporate. And by doing that, we will get a bit of a bureaucracy debuff. In order to solve that issue, all we're going to do is we are now going to go right ahead and build ourselves a government administration building here in Queensland. Build about 2 just in case. And that should now be enough for us to incorporate the other states. And you will do that the same. Now, remember, you will have the Australian unifier. So we'll have about 29 months left until we can do that again. Now, I'm going to go ahead and quickly grab South Australia, Kaurna, and the United Tribes and colonize South Island, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've managed to trigger the Australian Federation. As you can see here, the Australian Federation. The colonies of Australia have been consolidated into a single government under the direction of New South Wales. The Queen of Britain has formally congratulated the Australian people. So as you can see here, if we hover our mouse, we do have the Advanced Australia Fair, giving us 20 prestige for the next 5 years, and then our status with the British Empire goes from puppet to now being a dominion, which will now give us the ability to obviously declare an interest in Indonesia, which is personally what I like to do, and then being able to either puppet, conquer, or do anything along that of the sort. Now, as you can see here, we come over here to the cultures, nation formation, and then we're going to go right ahead and form Australia, just like that. Absolutely wonderful. Now, I still need to grab Tasmania, but yeah, that's all we got to do for today's video. If you guys want to see more Victoria 3 step-by-step guide videos, please let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful day, night, whatever time zone you're in. Be yourselves. See you next time. Peace out.